This is an intake manifold originally built for a front-wheel drive engine, which is being swapped into a rear-wheel drive vehicle. Our job here is to take the throttle body off of one side and move it directly to the other. Pretty simple. But the owner of this manifold is a fellow fabricator and a YouTuber, so I said, why don't you just bring your cameras over here and I'll show you how to do it.
This is officially ruined.
This is how it went.
Yeah.
Okay. First things first, what stays, what goes?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Okay, so engine is that way. It is now facing this way. So this currently is hitting the firewall. So this needs to be relocated over here.
Cool.
So we're gonna cut the flange off.
Yep.
We're gonna weld it on. You're gonna weld it on.
You don't want to try it?
I'd be willing to try it, but I don't know what I'm doing, so.
Okay, I'll take care of it.
Okay.
So, these lines, do you need them?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll worry about it later.
All right, let's just assume that you will need them, so we'll keep the screw ports in place there. All of
Okay.
these ports, you can delete them later if you want, but for right now, we'll keep them there.
Okay.
Your throttle linkage, this is going to be non-existent, so at some point you'll have to figure out how to get it on this side, because without the throttle cable, we don't know where it's going to actually sit at, right?
Right.
So we'll zip-zap these off of here real quick, and then as soon as you got those out of the way, then we'll figure out where we're going to make the cut on here, and also we'll take the throttle body off.
Okay.
That's step one.
Bueno.
After stripping the manifold of all things that could potentially be damaged, we took a few minutes to discuss the best cutting solution for the job and decided the best tool available was the bandsaw.
Just hold it nice and steady, because that if you have it just slightly off at an angle, it'll bite it. And it'll want to yank it out of your hand,
I am scared.
and then it won't be good.
Like that?
Uh-huh. I should have asked, have you ever used one of these?
Nope. Not too bad.
Not bad for your first time, right?
That is beautiful. So what are we gonna do here?
Put it on the other side. That.
We're just gonna do it now?
Well, I mean, a few minutes.
Okay. How? We got a metal plug. We gotta get that out, or are we just gonna cut through?
No,
it?
we're actually gonna use it. So when we go to cut our hole through here,
Okay.
to mount our tube into, then we're gonna use this as to hold the center of the hole saw. We're gonna send a hole saw through it.
Oh, okay.
Super easy.
Oh, sweet. All right. I like hole saws. They're holy.
I can be a helping hand.
That's cool.
I'm an apprentice. Just send it through the middle so it gives us a center. Well, you can trace the outside if you want. It doesn't really matter.
I understand now.
So as long as we get it somewhere in that general area, we're good.
3 attempts and all of them were in a different spot.
Just average it.
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere in that general area. Yeah, that ought to work. Yeah, beautifully. Everybody usually says go easy on the hole saws.
Uh-huh.
I say give it hell. Set it on number 2 and just feed it in there.
Yeah, okay.
What are you doing?
Trying to. I've learned my lesson. I got a video on that.
Oh,
You should you should watch that video.
Oh yeah?
I know you've never seen my videos before.
Are you on YouTube?
Yeah.
No kidding, so am I.
Oh God. In case anybody hasn't seen that video, I like to drill the holes first so that when it drops in like that, and it almost broke my arm anyways, less of a chance of breaking your arm. Or delaying it, since it's gonna happen right now. I am scared.
It's like Ralphie. I'm in danger.
Where's my mic at? You're not gonna use my sound. Oh, damn it. This is officially ruined.
That's how I'm gonna start the video out. This is officially ruined. That's a little warm, but that's why you keep the plug in it.
That makes a hell of a lot more sense now.
Much easier. How pretty do you want this? You want to zip that down, make it all nice and
Yeah.
OEM-ish?
Yeah, I think. Are you wanting to insert something in there or just right on top?
Yeah, 2.5.
Oh, this is that side. Okay, never mind. I was thinking of the plug on the.
The other side, well, we can either cut that on the fast cut or we can zip zap one with a hole saw again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll grind it down real fast then, just cause.
Grinding work was done with nothing more than an 80 grit flap disc with a delicate touch to shape and contour the manifold. While this step really isn't necessary for the manifold to function, it definitely makes it look a lot cleaner and more professional. And once the grinding was done, the new mating tube was prepped for welding.
Got it!
I'm not trying to second guess your abilities, sir, but this looks ridiculous.
Oh no, it's extra horsepower, blended volume, you know, shit like that.
Okay. Palomino volume. Palomino power.
I think this is 2 1/4 inch tube, right? Just a little
Okay.
bit of prep with this surface prep pad, Scotch-Brite, whatever you want to call it, because it kind of matches the cast look.
Yep.
So when you weld it on there, it almost looks kind of OEM.
Yeah, I like it.
It slips beautifully into there.
I like that too.
So you just got to decide where you want it.
Uh-huh.
How
Do
much
it
you
again.
want in, out.
All right. Keep doing that.
It's stuck.
Do we care? How much
not
it comes out?
necessarily.
Just enough to weld?
It will
That's my
increase your
thought.
quantum volume. It will give you a little bit more of a boosty of performance on the top end, if you will. But are you
Okay.
going to notice it? Probably not. It's more like butt dyno style. So
Okay.
I'd say since the front of your cylinder head is going to be in this general area, I'd keep it probably about there-ish or so.
Okay.
You just need a marker and just any old single mark will do.
Single? No way. Well, you gotta use all the ink.
Now you go cut that on the saw.
Okay.
It's a popular question. So this is obviously on AC, so current's going back and forth. The positive side of the current cleans the metal off, pulls the oxide layer off of it. The negative side digs down into it. But we got cast aluminum, which means the inside of that thing is just filled with all kinds of garbage. And the grade of the aluminum is variable grade. So since we don't know the composition of the cast and we're welding a very thick piece, which is your flange, to a very thin piece, which is this tube, we gotta preheat this flange, and all the while we're gonna chase out the junk. So the first pass that we're gonna make around here is not gonna be with filler. We're just going to just run it over the top of there and wait for all the little bubbles to come out of it. And once it comes down with a clean, fresh layer, like it's just been reset, then we can actually weld to it. And by the time we get all the way around this thing, it should be nice and hot, and then we can just go in there and start adding our filler all the way around. That's the theory, at least.
Okay.
It doesn't always work that way.
I'm excited.
So. So you see the little bubbles? So I'm just kind of going around right now. A lot of it's just kind of dancing around and kind of getting mad. But this casting is not too bad. DSM is like, it's always been pretty solid, decent. But if I see any bubbles come up or whatever the case is, I got to get rid of them. Uh-oh. I messed up. Not supposed to do that.
I missed it.
Trust me, you saw it.
I heard screaming, but that's it.
I dipped my tongue.
Oh.
I don't know why the internet thinks I can weld.
Editing.
Exactly. No, I mean, normally I have a stunt double. This is the thickest part here, so I'm going to try and get all of this purged out of here. Means I'll take a little bit longer. And I definitely want it to kind of round over on this side. That way it'll blend with my weld a little bit better, or with my bead when I add filler to it. And now it should be plenty hot, which means we can go in and start adding some filler. One little teeny tiny drop at a time. That's all we're doing.
Okay, so I've watched you do this 1,000 times from my couch. You're not putting the filler in the arc, are you? You're putting it in the puddle?
Putting it in the pool.
The very edge of the puddle? The heat of the puddle is enough
Call
to
that a
melt
weld
that?
pool.
Okay.
MIG welders do puddles. You know what MIG stands for, right?
Nope.
Anyone can weld. The first 3 letters of each word are silent.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So this time I want the arc to kind of blend up to the top there. As soon as I got a pool on both sides, add a little drop of filler. There we go. Most of my arc is concentrated on the flange. And I'm varying my foot pedal here just to make sure that I have an adequate amount of amperage. And you see there's a bunch of junk floating inside of there?
No.
Little speckles, and it's kind of bubbly looking. Well, not bubbly, but burned up a little bit. That's a combination of a lot of heat and the junk that's still floating out of it. That's the nature of cast aluminum. Don't really expect like perfect dimes on this stuff.
Right.
Here where I want it to be a little bit wider, I'm adding a little bit more filler just to let it blend downward a little bit. And then once I get slightly out of position or something's not right, I just cut the arc, move the piece, and then run again. TIG welding is one of those things in this world that you can know everything about except for how to do it. It just takes a lot of practice. So in other words, as I go through here, if it doesn't look right, I don't add filler. I make the correction and then I go in and add filler. So if I notice the tube, which is really thin, is kind of wanting to blow away or whatever, I'll correct it by either pulling the arc down or move it up, or maybe less amps on the foot pedal, maybe more. There's a dozen ways to do this. And none of them are technically wrong. As long as the result is correct, it doesn't really matter. We'll just taper off of it like that. And there's our welded flange.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah, could be better.
Okay, well, it's gorgeous.
Thank you. I haven't welded in like 2 months.
Looks like
So,
it.
yeah.
Just kidding.
See? All right, we're gonna let this cool down. While that cools, we can cut and plug that side.
Okay.
Now, plugging the hole is pretty straightforward. You simply cut a slug the same size as the hole, and then you just weld it up. Now, you can use a hole saw, you can use a bandsaw, or you can use whatever you have as a tool to make it take the shape. Now, on this particular job, I wanted something special to commemorate this collaboration, so I drafted up a quick file that I could use the fastcut to then create. After a couple of minutes of grinding and shaping, and a few more attempts to get it set just right, I got it all welded up, and then we moved on to the next portion.
So, flange is squared up here, so it mimics where the head is. That tells me where the top of this throttle body has that little dip into it.
Yep.
So that's how we know where the top is. At least it should be the top.
No, you're
It
correct.
is the top.
Yeah.
So then I just use the square here to make sure that this is nice and flush. I'm kind of eyeballing it this way, so it could be like a decimal or two off in the wrong place.
I don't know.
So again, we'll we'll just tack it. Then we'll do a junk pass. Do you think if people sub to my channel, it would be tacky? Ah! I don't know. You ever watch Mr.
So I didn't actually realize this until editing, but I only have one camera rolling, and it's super overexposed and not really in focus. I did my best with the color grading here, but not for the most usable footage here. The other camera was actually in the hands of Man Candy, as he was trying to get his version of a handheld arc shot. But either way, the welding was pretty much the exact same as any of the other sections. On this side of the flange here, I used 3/32 filler and just ran all the way around until it was done. The grade of the filler I'm using is 4043 because that's like the number one question that everybody asks me when it comes to welding cast aluminum. Yes, I use 4043. And after all of that, this is the final result.
1, 2. but we'll tie this in here. Those first couple beads look a little bit cold, so we don't want to blow the welds on the intake going all fast and furious on this thing, so we'll make sure we added a couple more, a little bit more heavy. And there, you have successfully completed your manifold swap, throttle body swap, whatever.
I'm a little sad. I just realized it's essentially autographed plate in the back. I'm gonna have to put a mirror on the firewall.
That way if somebody's ever crawling through a show, they see your truck and they're like, I know that truck. They're gonna be like hanging over it like this, be like, it's there!